I know they mad that I can spit, I go off loyalty. So ain't no back door over here, I like that pretty tea. I go off qualities, they call me Prodigy. Okay, Prodigy. I know they mad that I can spit, I go off loyalty. So ain't no back door over here, I like that pretty tea. I go off qualities, they call me Prodigy. Okay.
All right, how y'all doing? I'm Christopher Redmon, back with another episode of 10 Minutes with Prodigy. And today we got the founder of the Black Millennium Renaissance, Christian Perry. How you feeling today?
Good, man. Excited to be talking to you.
I like to go reach out to people who's making an impact inside the community of Chicago. I just want to ask you a few questions about leadership and about what organization you serve. So I'm going to dive into BMR, the Black Millennium Renaissance, Justice and Equity, and tell us the origin story of how you all came to be.
Yeah, man. So the short of it is, during George Floyd's summer, there was a lot of pain that I was feeling personally, that our community was feeling, that young people were feeling. And my son, who is at the time around 7 or 8 years old, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor was happening, and we were mourning the deaths, unjust deaths of people that looked like us. Him at 8 was like, Dad, why do they keep killing us? So in that moment, I've been organizing for some time here in Chicago and around Cook County, and I asked, honestly, the Lord to give me something to do with my hands and with my mind. That was because I was starting to feel angry. Next thing you know, the Right to Breathe March and Rally takes place. We have 500 people, 600 people taking up space, loving on each other, and then the Justice and Equity Fellowship, which you were a part of, was born out of a continuation of that work. How do we prepare the next generation of movement sustainers and movement builders? And we thought we could do it by giving back what we know about the world, about organizing it, about our people, connecting them with our networks, giving them resources, helping ensure that they build a better tomorrow. That's how it came.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about the fellowship.
So, Justice and Equity Fellowship is essentially a 6-week cohort-based learning program where we bring together 16 to 23-year-olds from all across Cook County to learn about the principles of community organizing, public policy advocacy, and what we're trying to do is sell them a vision for transformation. Now, we believe that what we need to transform our communities is already in us. So the reason why we do the cohort-based learning model is, the fellows get to learn from each other. On Tuesdays and Thursday nights, across those 6 weeks, for about 2 hours, I am sharing information. We are giving homework, they're writing, they're thinking, they're building their leadership philosophies that they present at the end of the cohort. But they also get paired with the nonprofit organization or business that is doing incredible things across Chicago and Cook County, and they get to learn from these people. Folks like my block, my city, folks like Chicago. They get to take what they're learning in seminars and apply that justice and equity to the work they're doing in their internships. And the hope is that they begin to make these connections on their own as we work toward a collective vision for transformation, liberation, not just for our people, but for the entire country.
So I know that one of BMR's mission is rooted around belonging and justice. How do the belonging and justice look inside our communities?
Oh man, that's a big question, man.
Keep it short.
I've been doing a lot of thinking, writing around these two ideas, around justice and belonging. When I think about what the far right wing in this country is fighting against, they're fighting against things like DEI, fighting against the term woke. And what they're doing is really a really good job of misinforming and confusing people about what it is our ancestors fought for and won, and what we ought to be fighting to continue to sustain. And that is this idea that a society should be based on justice. Right? That there should be a way to remedy the wrongs and the ills in society, but in a way that's humane, in a way that doesn't increase the population inside our prison, in a way that doesn't over-police communities just for being poor, in a way that speaks to how we do love in public, which is what Dr. King said justice was. So that's what pushed me toward this word of belonging. I'm a proud graduate, sit on the board of trustees at Trinity Christian College. And while I was there was a lot of research and thinking taking place that has continued around this idea of belonging. Dr. Brene Brown talks a lot about this in her research on shame, guilt, and vulnerability. Sustainability. The Institute for Othering and Belonging at Berkeley does a ton of great work. And what I began to realize as an organizer is that this is the piece that was missing, and what the right has been able to capitalize on. I often say that we're currently living in a time where people like the current occupant of the White House have mastered the politics of freedom. And the only reason why that's effective is because if I say I'm mad about a thing, you're mad about a thing, now we've made a connection. I don't have to tell you how I'm planning to fix it or what it means to fix it. All I have to do is other somebody and tell you that they're the problem and that we're the ones that are the victims. And now you feel like you what? You feel like you belong. What I feel like what we need to do as those who want to continue the tradition of our ancestors, Frederick Douglass, Dr. King, Malcolm X, Benjamin Hamer, Langston, in order to move the world toward a vision that is more just and more equitable, you have to understand what it means to belong. And that means sometimes you're going to have to wrestle with people and things that don't believe exactly the way you believe. What does it mean to bridge the gap between one idea and another? And I come from affluence and you come from poverty, but we both want to see the world improve. How do we work together to bring about our vision of the world that we feel is most just? So that's where that justice and belonging framework comes from.
I feel like I lead through music, and that's how I share my thoughts and emotions to the community and try to make a difference. What advice would you give to people who have no clue where to start in leading and making a difference?
Yeah, I would say two things. I would say I believe everybody was sent here with certain gifts, and that they're all different. Some people have the gift of speaking. Some people are gifted at music. Some people are gifted athletically. I think we are all sent here with a unique gift that only we can use. To that end, I think what you don't learn in school, which would be great if you did, is that I believe that there's a connection between passion and purpose. So when I would tell somebody, if they don't know what it is that they would be best leading at or best contributing at, or something I say to people is I work hard every day to try to figure out how I give my gifts back to the world. That question then becomes, what is it that you're passionate about, right? What is it that you would do and not get paid to do it, and you would still get a great deal of joy doing it? 9 times out of 10, that's your passion. Now, not always is your passion completely aligned with your purpose, but I do think that your passion can help direct you into what it looks like to find your purpose. So for you, you're able to write, you're able to rap, you're able to make, beats, but like the way that could have manifested somebody else is they might want to manage talent, right? They might have a love for music, but I want to manage talent. They may have a love for music, but I want to do promoting. They might have a love for music, but I just want to make graphics for CDs. Like it all can manifest itself in different ways. But the first thing I would tell you is, what is it that you're passionate about? And if you're passionate about it, what I would say is invest in your passion, right? And dream big. You guys got one of these quotes. My late grandfather, Johnny Davis Sr., would say, without our dreams, we have no hope. Whatever that dream is inside of you that makes you smile, that keeps your brain going, even when you would probably rather be asleep, that might very well be your purpose. It feels big and it feels a little scary. That's good. Try to show you guys in the fellowship, there are people that want to root you on, that want to invest in your purpose, and just dare to dream. Find your passion, dare to dream.
You kind of answered one of my questions, but to wrap things up, what do the next 5 years look for you and BMR?
5 years looks like how do we continue to grow and do more, right? It does cost money to be able to do these things. And I shared you guys some of my vision of what BMR could look like if we continue to increase our network, expand our community, and people begin to catch the vision that we believe. We believe that movements are sustained by people, that people need tools, networks, resources, and community in order to sustain themselves. So those are the things that are needed in order to sustain a movement. My hope is that more people get to meet people like yourself, other fellows. You guys get to share the good news of what you learned, the family that you built while being a part of the fellowship, and that people with means and resources decide to invest in figuring out how we build up a generation of Gen Z and Alpha that know their history, that know who they are, that are proud, that have tools, resources, and a community of people behind them willing to push them to the highest versions of themselves. Because the best thing that we can do for one another is make sure that we're all pursuing our very best. And that's what we want to be able to do at BMR. So for me, in 5 years from now, BMR's got 15 employees. We're able to do maybe 18 to 20 fellows instead of 10. We're able to go and publish papers and really start to push the narrative around what we need to transform society for the least of these. Because the gap between the haves and the have-nots is increasing. And in every time in human history, when that reaches a boiling point, it doesn't end well. And we got work that we can do to bring some dignity back to some folks who work hard every day. And if there are folks that want to be a part of that, my hope is that they bump into y'all in the street.
I appreciate you for sitting down with me and having this conversation. Y'all, it's only 10 minutes, but Christian got so much to offer. You do so many great things. And I want to say thank you for joining us. And also thank you for letting me be a part of the fellowship as well.
So
And we out.
follow us on
Yes.
Hope, BMI,
Yes.
Instagram, X, Blue Sky. Connect with me at Brian Braley, anywhere that you do social. We want to build with you all, and we want to keep investing in dope people like Prodigy.
Yeah.
So help us do that.
I'm going to leave all those links in the description.